Hey there YouTube, this is an update to my previous video about my Marlin 5 mountain bike. Currently the only thing that's original on this bike are the pedals, and that's only because I haven't decided if I want to go clipless on this bike or go with platform pedals. Everything else has been replaced, of course except for the frame. The wheels have been replaced, front and rear. I put a dropper post on it with a new saddle. Put a 1x10 drivetrain. I have the Race Face X1 crank up front with a 32 tooth chainring. I also purchased a 38 tooth chainring for more gravel trails. I put the 32 tooth on when I want to do the single track for the climbs. I have a Shimano 42 tooth by 11 tooth cassette on the rear with a Shimano XT clutch derailleur. You need the clutch derailleur with the narrow wide chainring. That way you don't need to put any chain guards on there to keep the chain from coming off. This combination works out really well. Seldom do I drop a chain unless I forget to switch the on switch on the clutch on the derailleur, which I turn that off when you remove the wheel. They recommend you hit that switch off. Other than that, it works out great. Put the M396 Shimano hydraulic brakes front and rear. As far as cutting the tubes and bleeding them, that's fairly simple. You just get the kit, not that expensive. There's YouTube videos that show you how to do it without leaking oil out of the whole system. And just having to do minimal bleeding. As far as the fluid goes, replace the handlebars with a set that a friend of mine gave me. It's a 740 millimeter length for the bar. He gave me the front stem with it. Unfortunately, I don't know the angle and the length. I can tell it's a lot shorter than the stock, and it works out really good for the single track. The front forks are RockShox Recon, I believe it's Recon Solo Airs at 100 millimeter travel. It's an 1.125" straight steer tube, in case you're wondering, for the front of this. The bottom bracket is a 73 millimeter bottom bracket. You'll need to know that when you go to purchase your cranks. The rear spacing is 135 millimeter with a quick release. You'll need to know that as well. And let's see, as far as the wheels go, I replaced them front and back with double walled rims. It made it much easier to go with the tubeless setup. The dropper post is a KS Eaton dropper post. It's externally routed. The reason why I went with the externally routed was because Trek mentioned that if I start drilling holes into the frame, it could void the warranty. I had no idea the frame was under warranty, but they said it's under warranty for life. So I thought, well, as cheap as the external routed KS Eaton dropper post is, I'll give it a shot. Works out beautifully. Don't have any problems. The cable, the way it's routed there, doesn't get in the way when it drops. It just works out good. I liked the WTB. This is the Comp Volt saddle. I purchased a full suspension bike, and the same saddle came on that, so I went out and purchased the saddle for this bike too. Pretty sure that's it. You also have to go with a 10-speed shifter. I went with the Shimano XT shifter, 10-speed, and I believe that's all the components. So far the bike works out great. I now have, with this full suspension bike I have, I can switch between this and the hardtail. If I want to do some gravel trails, I put the 38 tooth chainring on there to give me a little bit higher, higher gears, and then when I do the single track, I swap it back to the 32 tooth for the climbs, and it's been a good bike. Total, the bike was $350. I purchased $600 worth of parts on top of that to get it in its current configuration. I don't know if I won or not. You could take that money and purchase probably a decent new bike but I learned a lot in the process. To me, the knowledge and you know, getting the tools and using the tools, and then having them you know, to fix my other bike was worth it. So would I do it again? I don't think so, but you know, for the first time, you know, for the knowledge of it, it worked out good. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks.